What are your age? We're trying to shake irrigation. Anyway.
It's time probably for us to start, so we can go ahead and get to the good part of the evening. So I'd like to welcome you. I'm going to introduce, first of all, Bob Steiner to come up and welcome to class of 62. I know all of you know Bob Steiner. I've known Bob since I was about the second grade. Bob and I used to walk to school every day down the alleys. Bob knew a lot more about the world than I knew. I don't know how Bob knew about the world. I think he read the Wall Street Journal. He had 9 jobs and knew about banks, financial institutions. And he was an explorer, a Cub Scout, weren't you? Kind of Mr. Eagle. Were you raised by eagles? Or no, you raised an eagle. No, you raised a pig. Remember that pig, Larry? The worst looking pig that I've ever seen. Bob was always in uniform. And I remember one time at a college homecoming parade, Bob helped a nun across the street. He was very careful, guided her across the street, maybe got to the other side of the street, she fainted. He gave her a really nice Cub Scout salute. He said, "That's fine, ma'am. Any friend of Batman's a friend of mine."
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. I'm really surprised the turnout we had. I'd like to start off the introduction of class sponsors, Dr. Jane Bergen. One of our most trustworthy and loyal class parents that I think any class has ever had, Eddie Coleman. Unable to make it tonight, so we had to do the top class parents. I'd like to thank Cheryl and Mom for putting on together all the cards and letters to everybody. These telephone calls and all the telephone calls, contact everybody. We tried to keep it to the bare minimum, but I guess everybody over there had to have some bad news. We are running short of so I think Rodney Kaiser, his band, is going to perform for us. He has 3 band members that we will have to pay. We will not have to pay him and his wife. So we might have to pass the hat. We'll have to kind of see it after a while. But, I think they played their last reunion, and I think it's going to work. We might have to pass the hat. I guess George Jackson told me, he said, if you ever want to make a success and give a little talk or anything, you always want to talk about the president. I've got 2 stories about the president. One, I'll get you real nice story. I was going down the street, and I pulled up behind a car, and I saw a sign that said, "Impeach the president and Bill 2." How many Republicans are in here?
Yeah.
Come on, about, what was it? A couple months ago, a month ago, when they started the baseball season, you know, they had the petition to throw out the first game. Well, y'all heard what Bill Clinton threw Hillary out on the field again. The umpire said, I said, first pitch. I think last night, we had a very enjoyable evening last night. Several people came. We had a lot of stories. We laughed back here. We had a lot of stories. I think one story I'd like telling on Larry here. I think what, juniors or senior year? What was it, Larry? Anyway, got out to Vegas. You know, the type of guy Larry was, everybody figured, well, Larry would be the man to take care of the money. We had David Short's, what, 48, 49 Chevrolet? Is that what y'all did? Anyway, got out there, gave David, everybody gave Larry all the money and everything, but figured nobody else had enough money, wouldn't have enough money to get home. Well, everybody's surprised, Larry was drinking Thunderbird wine and Bud Bunny Kool-Aid. got in the taxi cab with all the money in it. And he gave his address in Mississippi. But I haven't got through. Larry didn't have enough money to pay the tax. Anyway. But talking about last night, I kind of walked around and listened to people talking and everything. And I guess, you know, Jim, he's kind of the older dude. He's grandpa. And Tony, that's your older dude.
Yeah,
So then one night, Tony came around there and he said, Grandpa, you croak like a frog. What? You croak like a frog. He said, well, yeah, honey, I think I can. Well, why do you want me to croak like a frog? He said, I want you to croak real loud. He said, I want Mom and Grandma to hear you picture. And he looked at her and he said, Tony, why do you want me to croak real loud like a frog? Well, I just heard Grandma tell Mama to send Granddad croak so he did some I tell you, it was an enjoyable evening. There's one person well, there's two people, two classes that I could not recognize. One of them was Johnny Miller. Where's Johnny? There he is. Now, I may tell you what now. Other one, good friend, old Roger Campbell back here. I mean, everybody was calling him, but everything was what he was. But a good story on Johnny. His wife said that when he got the letter, he didn't think for a second. She said, I've run his bath water, I've made his coffee, I made sure his clothes was all lined out, everything. No, he just did everything, Johnny. So anyway, she said whenever he got this letter, he got all excited about it. He said, as far as doing anything, he couldn't even go to the doctor by himself. I mean, she always had to take him to the doctor. Well, to get to the story I'm talking about, Johnny went out, he made a plane reservation, he set up everything's coming. I mean, she was just flabbergasted. She just couldn't believe it. Johnny did everything. But she said that Johnny went to had a real bad ear infection. Probably Dr. Hook there. Anyway, he couldn't hear very good. So she took him to the doctor. He wouldn't go by himself. She took him to the doctor. Got into the doctor's office. Every time the doctor would say something to him, he'd look over and he'd say, Sue, what'd he say? Well, she'd repeat to him. After the doctor finally got through examining him, he sat there and he told Sue what Johnny needed. He said, Johnny, he said, all I can say is that he said you need 3 square meals and a lot of tender little care. So Johnny looked over to Sue and said, Sue, what did he say? He said you're going to die. Walking around last night, you get a talking. And old Richard Gibbons said to talk about, he's in the hospital here not too long ago. We're all getting older. We're always kind of losing things as we go along. And I heard Richard say the thing that he lost first of all was his mind. He said he just couldn't. Somebody asked him, well, what makes you think that, Richard? He said, well, when I was in the hospital, he said, I know my eyesight was good, I know my hearing was good. He said, I heard these footsteps come down the hall. He said, my keen ears, I just knew that was the one. He said, came into the room in the middle of the night, it's dark, but my keen eyesight, boy, I just knew it was one. Well, I said, well, why does that make you think you're losing your mind? You can't remember. He said, well, she walked by the bed and I reached over and I pinched her. She turned around and she said, you've had it? He said, I don't even remember. We kind of lose on him. And then it'll come to Bernie. Old Bernie Campbell. Now, I tell you what, I think he's the only one that hadn't aged in our whole class, I think. And anyway, you'll have to get him to tell a story about Melvin Reynolds and him getting baptized in the 6th grade. Now, I mean, that's hilarious. It's too long for me to tell. But, oh, Bernie, my dad always told me how you can always tell. You can always tell you're getting older. Dad used to always tell me, you can always tell you're getting older and hugs is good as sex. Bernie said that's dead. So y'all need to get with Bernie this evening and ask him to tell you a story about Melvin Reynolds being baptized. I mean, that's hilarious. You gotta know Melvin Reynolds. That's something. I could go on. There's just all kinds of things happened there last night.
Did Bob fall in the pool? I'm not sure.
He came awful close to it. If it hadn't been for the fire pot, Bob would have fell in. I hadn't got any insurance.
I know every time
I was walking by too, and I heard Cheryl and Lane. they sitting there talking, and they're talking about, you know, the age and everything. And Cheryl was talking about her eyesight really being good. And I said, listen, I said, well, you know, I've never seen Cheryl wear glasses. I said, well, her eyesight was pretty good. She was telling Lane, she said, yeah, Lane, look over there in that stockade fence. You see that mosquito crawling up there? Only Lane got pulled out his glasses, and that tuck her head. No, she said, I can't see it, but I'm sure he's a little bit of walking. Some of us are keeping some of our secrets. All right. One more, then I'll quit. Rodney Kaiser. Rodney Kaiser is going to play in a band tonight. Years ago, we always go out to spend the night with Rodney. He lived out on Highway 66. And there's always travelers coming up, run out gas coming up to get by a gallon of gas or something to get them on town. We was out in the yard, we was playing, and this old boy come walking up the drive. Said he run out of gas, wanted to know if we get some gas. Well, he was a ventriloquist. Rodney said, yeah, he said, we got some gas out there behind the barn. He said, I'll be more than that if I get you some gas. So we started out across the barn. Rodney's mama had some chickens there, and that old traveler, he threw his voice. And well, he first asked Rodney, he said, what kind of chickens that, boy? Rodney, no, I can't, Mom's laying hens. That big put it through his voice. They sound like that chicken. He said, yeah, if you don't give me more grain, I'm not going to give you more eggs. Oh, Rodney looked around and looked at me and said, who said that? I said, what? That chicken did. Anyway, we walked on, we got down there, and there's no cow standing out there in the barnyard. That old big Quilligan, he sat there and said, boy, what kind of cow is that? Oh, Rodney said, oh, he said, boy, that's my daddy's milk cow. That old Travis kind of drew his voice, and that old cow said, yeah, if you don't give me more hay in the morning, I'm not going to give you milk. Old Rodney looked at me and said, boy, I told you this morning about this. I said, Rodney, you sure did, I tell you what. We got on around the barn there, and that old mare back there looked like a way back mare over the hill. That old boy said, hey, boy, what kind of mare is that? And old Rodney said, boy, he said, that's my dad's pride of joy. That's an old plow. That's what it's old. That's what horse my dad had when he first started farming. That old big buck stood his voice, and he said, yeah, if you don't give me a lot more hay in the morning, I'm going to quit plowing. So we got on around there, old Rodney boy going on about how smart his animal was. We got on around the other side of the barn, got there at the gas tank, and we filled up the camp and travelers. Ronnie said, let's just cut right here, back here through the barn here. He said, shortcut. We have to walk all the way around that cow lot. We got going over there in the corner. Old Rodney had an old ewe lamb tied up over in the corner. That old big bullet, I guess he figured, well, he's not going to bust these old bubbles one more time. Come on there, and he had his hand on old Rodney's shoulder. He said, say, sonny, he said, what kind of lamb was that over there? Old Rodney looked up and he said, I don't know, just a line of them on this barn. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming. I think we had a real enjoyable evening last night. I think tonight's going to be a whole lot good. We do have a bar set up at the back. Moose, going to be here to take some pictures. As soon as we get through here, I think as soon as the other class has their little thing, we want to kind of move these tables out here, and he's going to set up and take class pictures. He gave me a price list. It's not cash on delivery, people. It's cash on the table. So size 5 to 7, $7, 8 to $10, $10.
We can't.
Can't hear.
We can't hear.
You're going to have to speak loud. Adele Road. What's wrong time? Adele Road.
No, stand up. We want to see her.
Richard Newberg, my wife Carolyn.
Where's Ellen?
Carolyn.
Oh.
Okay,
Dave Kleeman, they call me Top Cat, and I'm not married.
and my name's Bob Steiner. My better half, Barbara.
Stand up, Barbara.
Cheryl Wynn,
I better have John.
Stand up, John.
Jen Eisenberg, my husband, Tim.
Jim Logan, my wife, Colleen.
Georgie Ford and my husband, Raymond.
Johnny Smith. Dave Foreman. Bernie. Bernie Cantrell.
Oh, I tell you, I've been pronouncing it wrong for 40-some years.
So have I.
Elaine Thompson, my husband, Joe.
Stand up, Joe.
Go, Joe, yeah!
John Miller, my wife, Sue.
Next two people I'd like to introduce myself. I think it's some long, loving friends of, I think, everybody in here that really wasn't in our class, but we thought of Judy as one of our classmates. Judy and Pat Overton.
I wasn't in this class.
Jim Lanier.
I graduated from Capitol Hill Senior High School in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, but you went most of the time here.
No, appreciate you asking me. Thank you.
Good job. There you go.
John Fisher, my wife Sue. Milt Hamburger, some call me George.
These last two guys, you know, you kind of have dreams at night, and after last night we had I couldn't hardly sleep. We got home, what, 2:30 in the morning. I was laying there tossing, and finally went to sleep. And Johnny Fisher and Johnny Smith and Milton Hamburger was in my dream. Old George. And I dreamed that they died and they went to heaven. They got up there at the old pearly gates, and St. Peter met him there at the gate. And came up to old George and said, George, come with me, and he said, I'll show you your room for eternity. Went up there and they opened up this door. Inside, I mean, just a little old small room. Black walls, the walls need painting, all these just little light bulbs hanging down from one of these little wires, you know. It's just dark as a bird. St. Peter threw on the light, and it's about like a 25-watt bulb. But over in that corner was the biggest, ugliest gorilla. You know, they're sitting there grinning like a possum eating berries, you know. So George kind of looked, and he said, is this my room? And all of a sudden, a voice came down from above and said, George, you sinned. This is where you're going to spend eternity. Boy, George, he just kind of shook his head. So went on down to the next door, and that was the Johnny Smith's room. They opened up the door and looked in there, and it's about the same way, same decor, you know. But over in the corner, an old ugly alligator. Again, from up above, the voice came down and said, Johnny Smith, you sinned. He said, this is where you're going to spend eternity. Boy, I mean, Johnny and George, they were really upset. But by that time, old Johnny Fisher, now he was getting nervous. Went on down this next door, boy, I mean, the door was painted real bright white, you know, with blue trim on it. You know, the other doors, you know, needed paint and everything. Old Johnny said, well, not too bad. Opened up the door, and I mean, tell you what, there were chandeliers, you know, plush carpet, beautiful drapes. And there's a big old bay window out overlooking all the heavens. Over here in the corner of the room was a great big old round bed with satin seats on it. Boy, I mean, everybody stood there and kind of looked around. Lo and behold, laying on that bed was Bo Derek. And old Johnny, he just about to have a heart attack. All of a sudden, a voice from the heavens came down and says, Bo, you have sinned.
Boy, I tell you what, they don't work it for you, they just tell jokes.
Hey, I heard all these jokes last night.
Well, Carl, I've known Carl not quite as long as I've known Bob. I think, Carl, you lived here, what, the 9th grade? And what always impressed me about Carl is how he was always calm and relaxed, cool. He could play a football game, quarterback the team, and still look like he came from a tea party. And Carl was reading literature and Shakespeare. Unlike Bob, he wasn't reading the Wall Street Journal. He seemed to be reading literature. And I knew he was heading for big things because one time, I could see that maybe he was going to be a medical doctor because I asked him one time, I said, Carl, what do you give a girl who has everything? He said, well, penicillin.
Jim, truer words were never spoken. I'm not going to try to follow Bobby's act, I'll tell you that. I'd like to just say I'm very pleased to be here and to see the class of '63. The reason we're second, they had to let the '62 class introduce themselves. They're older. They might get their names wrong. Right. But I'm pleased. I'm glad the Bergens are here. I'm always happy to see people that taught us and sponsored. And one of the class parents for the other class, my mother-in-law, I can see her all the time. So it's good that she came tonight too. I'm impressed with our list of people that came back tonight. We have Florida represented, and Las Vegas, Nevada over here, and Alabama represented, and even somebody came back from Scotland. I'm pretty impressed with that, Gary. Glad that you were able to get away from your work and come back. But I have two things caught my eye. Looking at employment and things that they're doing now, I'm glad to see Judy Hamilton is still doing what she did so good in high school. Artist and author. She's great doing things for us in high school, and I'm impressed with that. But I don't think anything can top in here Linda Cassidy's past. For you in the class of '62, if you haven't got to see one of our booklets here, Linda Cassidy now is living in Houston, Texas, has pastimes of drugs, sex, and rock and roll. I wish she were here tonight. And I want to say, in behalf of the class of '63, we're glad to see Larry able to come tonight. Larry Leach, glad that you were able to come and be in the class of '62. And if anyone wants to expound upon their life or that reminds me, I'm pretty impressed with our class of '63, how many offspring we have too. We've been a pretty fertile group. There's 4 or 5 kids here and there, just lots of places. Grandkids. Who's got the oldest grandchild? Jim, anybody can beat you?
I don't think so. Lily and I got married in 5th grade. I don't remember not being married.
If anyone would like to tell us anything special that's going on in their life when they introduce themselves, please feel free to do so. But let's start right over here at this corner with Gary and stand up and go around the table as the class of '62 did.
Gary Riddle, not married. I was about 8.
Just tonight.
A one-night stand.
Bob, we couldn't hear you, but.
We can hear you. I'm Karen Allen Chapman, and this is George Chapman. And a few years ago, Daddy said, well, he said, you folks have lived quite a few places. What's your favorite place? And I immediately said, Wford. And the more George and I thought about it, the more indeed that was true. And so we have lived in 5 states, I think, and now we're back in Wford to stay. So it is the best place. Oh, and at 115 East Kitty, where I was residing as I was growing up, so come see me. Sure. Same telephone.
Are you through there?
Sit down, I got something else to say.
I remember she used to boss me about.
No, that was Connie.
I got 2 barrels here. My name's Ron Teasley, my wife Linda, and
and my sister Connie Jo, my guest tonight. She's my younger sister, by the way.
Barbara Steiner, and my date, Bob.
You've met me, Carl Hook, my wife Sam. We've got the whole family here. my sister-in-law, her husband, and my mother-in-law, so we got the whole table.
Marcita Garrison, my husband Gerald, and we're one of the ones with all the kids and the grandkids. I've got 3, he's got 4, I've got 2 grandkids. I think he's got about 35 grandkids.
I'm Ed Sensen-Taffer. This is my wife Kelly.
Gary Tuck, no wives, no grandkids.
And I'm Bill Boston. I'm Bill McQuain, and I'm living in Oklahoma City, and I have 2 stepdaughters.
Home of the woman. This is my wife Becky. Yep.
Gary Short, that's my wife Mary Kay. We're from Muskogee and have 3 children. Bob Chatham, my wife couldn't make it. She had to stay in San Antonio for the graduation of her daughter and a shopping spree that followed. So.
Smile at the camera, Bob.
Oh, hi, Lily.
I guess Roger Campbell, the only person that recognized me last night was my wife.
What was your alias?
Bill Boston.
Judy Kimball, my husband Dave.
And Donna Gaskins and my husband Matt.
Lindley?
Lynn Blagowski, my husband Jim.
You got member 62 that just walked in.
Rodney Kaiser, and this is my wife, Deanna.
I would be remiss if I did Karen. Leave anyone out? In our class, Vaughn and Cheryl worked in the other class. Got the names together, wrote, contacted, and worked and did all the work for this.
I'm sure several of you people, particularly the ones who live out of town, don't know this, but David, I'd like for you to stand. David Lehman. David was just inducted into the Hall of Fame of Weatherford Bowling Alley.
I've been bowling that for 33 years, and I guess I've been working down there over 20-some years.
What's your average, David?
Thank you.
Well, since Bob said we're going to come up a little bit short Monday night, I thought we'd have a little competition between class 62 and 63. So, Carl, if you just Jim keep score here. We're going to ask some of the class members a few questions, and whoever wins, and I think the other class should kick in whatever is needed here. And I will keep score, and I'll be very objective. Okay, here we go. This is a quote from a class member in 1963. Bob, I'm going to ask you, who do you think made this quote? Okay, and this was recorded. It's written down in a yearbook. Legit quote, right? Trust everybody, but cut the cards. Who do you think made that quote?
That has to be Carl Hook.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Gary Cook.
Oh, okay.
You don't get a point there. Okay, 62, class 62. Bernie,
Sure I did.
I'm going to give you a quote, and if you can identify who the spokesperson was, and we'll get a point here. Business is like sex. When it's good, it's very, very good. When it's not good, it's still good.
I got that one. That's Bernie Cantrell.
We can't be that obvious. We've got to go to somebody else. Anybody.
Well, I
Pick
don't
a
know.
name.
Pick a name, pick a name.
I would say, Cookie.
What's on his mind?
Cookie Patterson.
Okay, back to 1963.
Is that a point or not?
Yes.
Yeah, we got the point. That was okay. Bob Dunn. Okay, I got a quote here. All I've got against golf is that it takes you so far from the clubhouse. Who do you think in your class said that? Probably Kurt. No.
Yes, I did.
We're getting down.
Hey, Jim Lanier, before you moved away, you were talking and somebody said this to you and we were really impressed with it. In fact, we wrote it down. The safest way to double your money is to fold it over once and put it in your pocket. Who said that?
That sounds like Bob Steiner.
That's right.
Carl, it's your turn to ask questions.
Okay, Karen. A man may be a fool and not know it, but not if he's married.
Well, now that sounds like Jim Love.
No, he has to be in your class.
Oh, I didn't get the
Jim is
directions.
62.
What were we supposed to do? Okay, Bill Firkline.
No.
No.
You mean I'm wrong?
What score so far,
I didn't think a
Jim?
teacher was ever wrong.
Who was it?
Teacher is always right.
That's right.
That was Thetis. Okay. Milton, now I know you'll get this one.
I wonder why you know.
Progress may have been good at one time, but it's gone too far.
Goldberg.
That was Johnny Smith. I thought I told you that. Okay, number 4. A man who won't lie to a woman has very little consideration for her feelings. Gary Short. Where's Gary? Gary?
What's the question again?
A man who won't lie to a woman has very little consideration for her feelings.
Bob Chatham.
They got a point.
Way to come through, Short.
I think it's ridiculous.
Dale? A man who thinks he's more intelligent than his wife has a very smart wife.
Well, that's true.
It's not a true-false test.
Not multiple choice.
You what? Choice. Ain't got anybody in our class.
Chan. Chan looks like somebody
Yeah,
would say
that's who
that.
it was. What is it, 3-1? This last one counted. You want to let them double up or anything on this one?
Double jeopardy.
Okay.
Okay with me.
This quote goes to Marcita.
All right. We'll get this.
Marcita, who in your class said the first half of our lives is run by our parents and the second half by our children?
I gotta say Ron.
to Elaine. Elaine, yeah. Elaine, you get this and we win, isn't that right, Jim?
The pressure's on.
A bird in the hand is an awful nuisance.
You got a better. Cheryl.
You're right. Well, that's good. We have some certificates for people who we'd like to recognize who have, who's come the farthest and has well, we have here 4 for the class of 62 and 4 for the class of 63. Some of these will be easy to determine. Others, we may have to kind of huddle a little bit and think about it. First of all, I think we can do this first one. For class of 62, who's traveled the longest distance? Do we know who that is? The longest distance? Class of 62.
Johnny from California.
Washington. Becky's hard.
Becky Barnett, Tacoma.
Who what?
Becky Barnett came from Tacoma, Washington.
That probably is Becky. Doesn't have your name on it. Okay. We're still with class of 62. Who's had the most grandchildren? Anybody? 2?
More than 10?
More than 2? Anyone have more than 2? Okay. How many? 3? John? 4? Anybody have more than 4? Well, we can one more. John. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of time. The most youthful looking female and the most youthful looking male out of class of 62. Well, I think we probably can do the male.
Not only time for this. It's going to take some testing.
Well, no, we're just going to hold real quick. Does everybody agree it's Bernie?
Yeah.
All right.
You know that what bothers me is I think Zane Bergen looks younger than a lot of them. Okay, in the class of 63, who's traveled the greatest? Probably right? Scotland? Did you get here going east or west?
He didn't know. He just got on the plane.
All right, class of 63, having the most grandchildren, who would that be? Does anybody have any? Yeah, I think so.
I think last count, I think he's got 13 and I've got 2. And he has a great, he's got a great grandchild. This is scary.
Okay, most youthful looking male in class of 63.
Carl and
Carl?
Carl.
I thought it might be Bob.
Janet looks pretty young myself.
Okay, how many think it's Carl? Hold up your hand. It's Bob. It's close. Bob, you barely won. Now, do you want to just decide on the most youthful looking female as the evening goes along, or you want to do it right now? Do we have any nominations? I nominate the landlady. I'm sure you'll have a nomination. Well, okay, we've got, let's try to get 3 nominations and then decide. Class of 62. Okay, Janice, who else?
Cheryl wins.
Cheryl, who else?
Georgie.
Georgie, okay. How many think Janice?
Why don't they stand up?
Stand up.
I know this is good, isn't it?
I have to walk back and forth.
Whose idea was this?
Everybody fits into that.
We have to silent ballot on this one, or we're going to be in trouble.
No, I think we're going to go ahead ahead and do it.
No, we're gonna go.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay, Janice, stand up. All three of you stand up.
God, no. Oh, God. Where'd you call this?
I mean, just by show of hands, Janice,
That's all.
somebody, everybody. Okay, Cheryl, Georgie. It's a tie.
Where's the Xerox machine?
We can work that. Okay, class of '63, we need 3 nominations.
How about Lindley?
Sure, I wouldn't argue with that.
Vanjie. Vanjie.
We in the class of '63 want to know if we can nominate ourselves.
Yes.
We think we
Go ahead.
all are
Stand up if
extremely
you
young
want
looking
to.
and we all want to share.
Okay, so we've got 2, one more.
Judy Hamilton?
Who?
Judy Hamilton?
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, how many think Lindsay? Hold up your hand.
Have them stand up.
Stand up, Lindley.
How many think Judy? And who was the third one? And of course, it was a tie again. Where is that? On the floor. So they can just come up and choose.
We have some nice prizes. They can help you share.
So let's start off with the most youthful looking female. 6 of them.
Just pick or just
Yeah, I just pick.
Just pick.
Travel all the way from
Bob, you want to make a choice?
Wow.
Cool. Cool. What are you gonna get, Bob? Coin. I'm kind of a cheap guy. I'll get a coin on that.
Bernie, you were the other one?
You got a box of Polly
We're not
Wait, that's perfume.
Tell the, John, both grandchildren.
Oh, let's see what you got with that.
Let's see, we had, what else do we have?
Marcita.
Marcita. Gary,
Okay, Gary, it's your turn.
make a choice for traveling and coming to far.
Get something tradable, Gary.
No, I want to get this thing.
I don't know what it is. Becky.
That's my favorite thing. You can't have it ever. Even though you want it worse than anything in the world.
No, I'm happy with my coin counter.
Right there.
They won't be here.
It is.
They'll drive.
I'm not even gonna let you look at it. It's solid silver. Seashell. You put it to your ears and you can hear the ocean. Did you know that, George? Oh my.
Well, I think that finishes the official, yes.
I was just informed that if anyone would like to have pictures from the table, they're welcome to them because my husband doesn't want them going home.
And wait, not all of those.
Let's just kind of, save some for everybody else.
They're
Take a
white.
couple if you want.
Well, I think that concludes the formal part of the evening, except one did want to thank everyone, but I think everyone has been thanked. Vaughn certainly, and Cheryl, and Bob in our class, and Karen, and Barbara, and Lindley. And then Donna did bring all those articles and so forth this afternoon, so that really helped too. So, all right, thank all of you.
Don't think they start playing a little bit for the dance and everything. Before you go, let's get the group pictures, so Bush go on go to bed. He didn't want to stay here all the time.
Actually, what we can do is you guys can move in there and we'll get this place ready, and we'll call you one class at a time. You can come in and go back.